Hey there, it's Llamaphil here, and this is 3D Stock Cars 2 for the Sinclair Spectrum. It's a Super Sprint style racer that was made by Aced Software and published by Challenge Software in 1992. That's right, this came out the same year as Super Mario Kart and Virtua Racing. That might seem a bit weird, but the early 90s were a bit of a transitional period where technology was progressing so quickly that platforms of wildly different ages and capabilities sat next to each other on the shelves. CD-ROM based machines were just coming out, while games were still being released on tape. The Mega CD actually came out in Japan before this game was released. 1992 would be the last proper year of the Spectrum's life. That was the year the Spectrum Plus 2 was discontinued. Commercial releases would dry up completely in 1993, and the two big Spectrum magazines, Sinclair User and Your Sinclair, would cease publication in April and September of that year. I can't remember exactly when I got this, but it would have been sometime within a year of its release date. I'd have been 7 or maybe 8 years old. This was also around the time that I started to go to watch stock car racing with my dad and older brother. So even though I don't know exactly when I got this game, I'm pretty sure I know why I did. Reviews at the time were mixed. It was given 30% in the February 92 issue of Your Sinclair, which by an unfortunate coincidence included the full version of Atari's Super Sprint on the cover tape. Sinclair User was much kinder, awarding it 74, but still drawing attention to its rather dated format, even referring to it as nostalgic in their final comments. Regardless of the review scores, which I probably didn't look at, even though I had that issue of Your Sinclair, I really enjoyed this game when I was a kid and I played it a lot. But nostalgia aside, how does it hold up 25 years later? Surprisingly well, despite its appearance. Yes, this game is dated, and the graphics are functional, to say the least. The cars look like Space Invaders from some angles, and it's actually less 3D than its predecessor, 3D Stock Car Challenge. That game had a much more oblique viewing angle, giving a stronger isometric 3D effect. This uses more of a Super Sprint style point of view that's almost overhead, but not quite. You get 18 tracks in the game, and there's a custom championship feature that allows you to pick and choose which tracks you want to race on. I think overall they're a pretty standard mix of tracks with a couple of interesting features like roundabouts and crossovers thrown in. The corner cut detection can be a bit flaky sometimes, it's easy to lose a lap without really knowing why. But you can also exploit that by giving your opponents a little tap and forcing them to take a shortcut. As well as customising the championship, you can tune the AI difficulty. There's 15 levels to choose from. I probably wouldn't go below 10 or 11 if you want a fair challenge, but it can help to put one slower car in the field to mix things up a little and make the crossovers more interesting. Although it looks like a Super Sprint clone, it doesn't actually drive much like one. I hate to use the word realistic, but it feels a lot more car-like than other games of this type. You can't just hold down the accelerator and slide the car around every corner. You'll slide for sure, but it's not always a good idea. You'll either over-rotate and screw off speed, or you'll just back it into a wall. The cars feel heavy, and corner like they're on worn-out road tyres, which I suppose is appropriate considering the theme. It only takes a bit of imagination to believe that you're racing a car like the Ford Anglia depicted on the cassette inlay. For the record, I thought the cars in the game were mini-stocks, or Austin Metros when I was younger. The cars also don't turn in place like in Super Sprint, so if you crash, you'll need to back out of the wall before you can continue. Coming back to this game after many years was a lot more enjoyable than I first thought it would be. It's a very simple game that doesn't try to do anything original, and it looks like garbage, but it has decent tracks, and the AI is quite fun to race against. Even so, I find it hard to give it anything but the softest of recommendations, not because I don't like the game, but because I don't know who I would recommend it to. Stock car racing fans? Not really. People wanting to see what the Spectrum was like at the end of its life? Again, no, there's much better options for that. So, like so many older games, 3D Stock Cars 2 falls into that middle ground. It's a game that's okay, it's pretty enjoyable all told, but you're also never really going to have a good reason to play it besides nostalgia. It's there if you want it, but there's probably other things you'd rather be playing. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.